Hey there, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Kuball. Thanks for joining me on this We Are Iowa Plus Weather Impact Forecast Update. Here's what we're looking at as we go ahead. We do have a weather impact alert day status in place. Both days this weekend, that is what we're going to be tracking. Hot and hazy conditions. High heat and humidity combining, we are going to be looking at heat indices rising up into the triple digits for the first time on this summer season. It could be as high as 107 degrees. So what you need to do is, if you're going to be outside for prolonged stretches, stay hydrated, take frequent breaks, have some ways to stay cool. If you are going to be outside for those extended periods, be sure to have some shade and wear light colored clothing. And this weather impact alert may need to be extended into Friday too. It's not clear cut on Friday. That's the reason why it's not in there now. I think the state is ultimately going to be split in half. We have rain on one side to keep things cooler and then sun on the other half. And that's where we run into that difference and the high heat coming into play. Here's a heat watch. It's the entire state, goes up into southern Minnesota, Nebraska, South Dakota. Again, that heat index could be as high as 107 each afternoon. Now we'll start to get those temperatures back up on Thursday. Now the humidity is briefly back for one day and then it starts to charge forward. So I really think we start to feel the conditions a bit more getting into Friday and then the weekend. Heat dome is going to be moving in. Watch the progression here. We get the hottest air overhead on Saturday and into Sunday, and then that dome shifts down to the south and east ever so slightly here. But what we are going to be having is right along the edge of this dome. That's where the active storm track is, and notice it's close by on the northwestern edge. We have what we call ridge riders riding this big warm ridge that bows up, you see, into the northern latitudes. We have several disturbances littering that jet stream, and that may produce a daily rain opportunity beginning Monday and stretching through the rest of the work week. Now, there is some uncertainty with that. How warm can we get there in that kind of a setup? And ultimately, I think the rain chances and extra clutter in the sky will ultimately keep our temperatures back a little bit. So we'll drop below that really dangerous type of a level that we're expecting from the weekend. Now, should we luck out and get a clearer setup on each individual day, we may need to bump us back up to that weather impact alert day status. Here's that muggy meter. Again, I mentioned it's briefly back for Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday. Things are looking more robust there with the dew points getting into the middle 70s, I'd say. I think 75 is going to be the target mark. And so when we're talking temperatures getting into the mid 90s here, I do ultimately think that we're looking at triple digit heat indices and potentially even as warm as 107 degrees. Let's go over to the web browser. So now the why. Why are we going to be getting so warm? Well, we have that big warm dome over us that I showed you. That's warm air into the mid-levels of the atmosphere. Now, just because that's there doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be the most robust. There are other factors that determine just how hot things will be, and one of those factors is going to be the wind. The wind is going to be breezy. Both Saturday, this is the wind in miles per hour sustained, right around 18, 22 miles per hour. And getting into Sunday afternoon, it's kind of a similar picture. Now, I'm not sure what's happening to my camera here as that comes back. I don't know what happened. I lost the camera, so I'm frozen but still talking. We'll go ahead and just get you on the web browser full here as I wrap this one up. It looks like it just reset. That is really crazy. I've never seen that happen. But hey, we roll with the punches here. But as I was mentioning, that wind is going to be strong each day. And the wind gusts could be as high as 40 miles per hour each afternoon, particularly across southern Iowa, as you're seeing in the data. But this actually helps mix the atmosphere just a little bit better. And so with those warmer temperatures, you can see that by this red line here. This is for Saturday afternoon. Temperature is by these diagonal black lines. So notice it juts up to warmer readings just a little bit. And this is in Celsius. So we're looking at about 26 degrees Celsius. If we could mix to that level with that stronger wind, that would mean triple-digit air temperatures. Now, it looks like we're not going to quite mix that high, but still, just by that wind being there, it gets us a chance to erode that warmer air that lies just a little bit above it and help bring it down to the surface. We call that atmospheric mixing, and typically, on those days with stronger winds, we can overachieve a little bit with that air temperature. So that's why I'm going to be putting the mid-90s onto it at this stage. Given the fact that we are going to be mixing a little bit. I do want to show you the temperatures here across Iowa. This is for Saturday afternoon, and this is the European model. Notice the raw data is saying 90, 92, but if you saw that last graphic I showed you before we got off the weather system, I had 96 in there. And that's the reason why that mixing from that stronger wind usually, I found in my past experience, we overachieve just a little bit when we have that stronger wind. So that's what I'm going to be calling for there. And then into Sunday, you notice the raw data is a little bit warmer. So something to watch there, no doubt. Let's look at the blend. This kind of gives us a good indication by taking multiple models and kind of blending them all together. And this is Sunday now, showing you Sunday, and that's closer to that 96 I was showing you. And then on Saturday, kind of the same looking setup. Let's go to Friday, and I'll show you the difference here. You see that difference across the state? Temperature is much warmer in the southwest to the north and east. The reason for that here, that's because we are going to have some precip that is trying to slide through. Let me get the raw data up here. We'll show you. Early Friday morning cluster is slipping across the northeastern half of the state. Des Moines kind of right on the edge. But depending on how quickly this moves out, that will dictate how our Friday goes. So if it does get out of here in decent time, which this is kind of hinting at, we may need to bump those temperatures just a little bit. Time is on our side. No doubt southwestern Iowa, it's going to be hot and sweltering. I just kind of want to see if this is going to be for everyone or not. All right, let's get you back to the weather system. I will show you the breakdown of the heat indices here. As we look at Friday, there's that split. All right, so it's sweltering out there, but not quite for everyone. I'd like to see that expand a little bit more with those dangerous conditions before looking at that weather impact alert day. Fairly widespread, up to 107, both Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. Should we get a look at the 10-day here real quick? Let's get this out here. And I mentioned that Ridge Rider situation. That is going to be running as we get into next week. A daily rain chance, that will influence the temperatures a little bit at minimum. But if we keep a crystal clear sky, especially earlier in the week, those temps may need to be raised. Wanted to give you some insight, kind of the weather why behind it, why I'm forecasting things above model guidance, and I hope that made that picture a little bit clearer for you in the grand scheme. Either way, it's hot this weekend. Take care of yourself. That heat can definitely sneak up on you, and it hits in an instant. I've suffered from heat-related illnesses in the past, and it does trickle down in later in your life. You will feel it. I can speak to that firsthand experience. So stay hydrated, lightweight clothing, have a way to stay cool and take frequent breaks, and take care of yourself here for this weekend.